Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jeremiah. Welcome to episode 3 of the 101 Stores podcast. This episode today is just going to be a brief one to touch on supply chain, which is pretty much a huge part of getting started with any business or store that you're about to launch. In our last episode, we did touch on a few key steps that you need to take before you officially launch your business or your store, which is, getting your logo ready, um, figuring out who your audience is going to be, and of course, establishing your business idea, product idea. But before even getting to the stage where you're ready to launch and start selling products, you obviously need the product. And today I'm just going to talk a little bit about how to do that, how to develop and source your products. Most of the products that I've sourced have been through Alibaba.com. A long time ago, this was a very difficult thing to use. It was actually a little bit scary. When I was first using it, I remember there was no escrow service with it. In many cases, you had to pay even with Western Union, and you didn't know for sure if that money was going to some scam or an actual factory or a manufacturer. But with the way that Alibaba has progressed, it's extremely safe as long as you're using the escrow service and making sure that you're, um, you know, when you're searching, you're only going with verified suppliers. So my first step when I'm trying to launch a product, if I have an idea or if it's something that's already in the market and I see a really good competitor that I've been following, I'll start just using keywords and searching here. If it's something completely new and from scratch, that's totally fine as well. There's this feature here in Alibaba called RFQ, and I've opened it up here in this tab where you can pretty much describe your idea and, add images, explain your product if you have a concept. And what's nice about RFQs is it's a request for quotation, so it's a little bit of a bidding war. You'll actually get a lot of manufacturers, responding, and Alibaba um, formats it and puts it together in an organized way where you can go through and see their quotations and their messages. And I honestly don't like messaging too much through the Alibaba app. And I'm not really going to open my orders area or my messages area because that does have some sensitive information, my own suppliers. And we're completely transparent with 101 stores in almost every area except that. We're not going to reveal our suppliers to you. But yeah, the messaging platform, I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest. So what I like to do is I actually, in most cases, as soon as I've established a connection with a supplier that I like in Alibaba, I'll invite them to WhatsApp. Most suppliers do use this app called WhatsApp. You can see here, this is our chat between Ephraim Grubb and I, Select Start Labs. And what I really like about WhatsApp is this feature right here is gold to me. If you can reply to a comment in its context, I feel like when I use Slack or other, even just text messaging, things get lost in the shuffle. There's so many messages, and you might remember something you said yesterday, but you can't find it. But say I wanted to type something here, a reply. If I do that, you're going to see my message with a little preview of this message here that I'm replying to. And if they click it, it'll actually scroll them up to here. So for example, I'll pull up one, like I don't have any supplier information in here per se, but here's a chat with I have with one of my suppliers where, this is, where I just paid the sample. And I like to set up new chat groups according to what we're talking about. Like this one's for samples, and I have another one for bulk orders with the same supplier. Yeah, here's another bulk order thread. But let me go back to that other one just to show you a couple things here. Where was it? The samples thread. So yeah, I like to, I'm developing as a part of one of my businesses, Flex Living, uh, a more cozy, comfortable collection. And most of it's activewear, but we're developing like an everyday line. And I found my favorite T-shirt. It's actually an old one from Zane Robe, where I've taken a bunch of photos of measurements. But you can see here, if I click this, where they were, or sorry, this was me replying to this message. If I click it, it scrolls me all the way up to where we were talking about it in context. So I love using WhatsApp. It's my favorite chat tool. Just wanted to throw that out there as a little tip. The other thing you can do when you're starting a business, and let's say, you know, even before you have a product idea, I actually love looking on AliExpress. There's so many unique ideas there. And a lot of business or a lot of entrepreneurs start getting into this space of e-commerce by drop shipping. And like we mentioned in the first episode, that's almost becoming a thing of of the past. It's a little bit tricky now to drop ship due to slow fulfillment times and the Facebook quality score, like we mentioned. They do anonymous surveys to your buyers, and if your shipping speeds are slow, you're really not going to survive long term. But I've actually known a couple people that they'll go to AliExpress and they'll find a product they really like, and some of them will even order it and then actually cut off the tags, and maybe they have a supplier for woven tags or they know how to sew, and they'll attach their tags to it. So that's one way to private label. It's a really hard kind of ghetto way to do it, but you'd be surprised. A lot of these suppliers, they do work with other businesses. It's not all only consumers, and they understand where you're coming from, and they'll even offer you private label. So we're actually doing that with one of our stores right now, where we started out with drop shipping, but we've got to a level where we want to survive long term. So we're starting to order inventory from our suppliers, and they've agreed, because of we've hit certain minimum quantity requirements, they've agreed to put our logos on the product. And we found it originally through AliExpress. But if you do want to set yourself apart, it's good if you're going to take that step to do private label through AliExpress to even tweak the product a little bit. Like a lot of these people, if you do a large enough order, they can make significant changes, even to the fit and the measurements. So, but yeah, I really love using AliExpress for product ideas also. But when you're going, with a really unique, customized product that you don't really see in the market, maybe some innovation or invention that you're working on, I would highly recommend using Alibaba's RFQ feature, or just searching through Alibaba and using their messenger service. But like I said, I really enjoy WhatsApp. That's where I keep everything organized. I also use Basecamp. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, so Basecamp is a really cool tool. I have a lot of my different businesses in here, and Select Start Labs. We organize our documents as well as to-dos, and we have message boards. In fact, I've even set up supply chain boards inside of Basecamp with our suppliers, where we can interact with them and submit orders to them through there, and POs, sample orders, things like that. But yeah, this was just a brief episode to touch on how to get started using either Alibaba or AliExpress. There are other ways, you can even travel to China, but honestly, with the way Alibaba is these days, and using WhatsApp or sending videos and images with details, I honestly don't even see a need to travel and visit my suppliers face to face anymore. I did that for a camera bag business I started a long time ago, and it was extremely helpful, but the times have changed, and a lot of this can be done just through these messenger services and Alibaba.com.